Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to unlock a powerful blueprint for your career, but we're going to find it in a place you might not expect: the core principles of software design. It's a really cool connection that reveals a whole new way to think about navigating a future that's, well, constantly changing.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. And let's start with the big picture. We all feel it, right? It's like the ground is shifting under our feet. The global job market is going through this huge, once-in-a-generation transformation. It's being driven by tech, by economics, by a dozen other things, all happening at once.
So, just how big is this shift? Well, let's put a number on it. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2030, a staggering 39% of a worker's core skills will be disrupted. Think about that for a second. That means nearly 4 out of every 10 skills you rely on today might need a major update or could even become totally obsolete in just a handful of years.
And, what's behind all this disruption? Well, this chart here shows the top 3 big trends that over 1,000 global employers pointed to. At the top, 60% say it's broadening digital access, 50% point to the rising cost of living, and 47% are looking at climate change. These aren't just abstract ideas. These are the engines that are literally reshaping the world of work as we speak.
So what happens when all these forces collide? You get this massive churn in the job market. I mean, look at these numbers. On the one hand, 170 million new jobs are expected to pop up. But, and this is a big but, 92 million are going to be displaced. Now, yeah, the net growth is positive, but the real story here is the transition. The jobs of tomorrow are going to demand a fundamentally different set of skills than the jobs of today.
So, all of this leads to a pretty critical question, right? And it's not just for companies, it's for every single one of us. In a world that is defined by constant, speeding up change, how do we adapt? How do we prepare ourselves for a future we can't even fully see yet?
To find an answer, we're going to zoom way in on a field that has basically mastered this exact problem. A world that by its very nature is built from the ground up to manage complexity and constant change: software development.
This quote right here, it perfectly captures a core software principle. It's kind of like telling a kid, hey, don't just raid the fridge yourself. Tell me you're thirsty. State the need. That way, you can provide the solution. It creates order out of what could be total chaos. And believe it or not, that's the exact same logic that allows these incredibly complex software systems to work smoothly. Now, the technical term for this idea is dependency injection. And yeah, I know the name sounds super intimidating, but don't let it fool you. The goal is actually really simple. It's all about building systems where the different parts aren't rigidly locked together. And that makes the whole thing way more flexible, adaptable, and easier to change down the line. This slide nails the concept perfectly. Okay, on the left, you've got a tightly coupled system. Imagine hardwiring every single lamp and appliance in your house directly into the walls. No plugs. If one lamp burns out, it could mess up the whole circuit. It's rigid. Now on the right, you've got a loosely coupled system. That's like using standard outlets. You can unplug a broken lamp and plug in a new one, and nothing else is affected. That flexibility is the superpower of dependency injection.
Okay, so that was lesson 1. Build for adaptability. Now for lesson 2 from the world of software, and this one is all about another modern challenge we all face: trying to make sense of an overwhelming flood of information.
I want you to imagine you're a developer. Something crashed, and you're staring at millions of lines of text that look just like this. It's just a chaotic, jumbled mess of information. Trying to find the one specific event that caused the problem, it's like looking for a single needle in a haystack the size of a continent. It's pretty much impossible.
Now, compare that chaos to this. It's the exact same information, but it's been organized. This is a technique called structured logging. And all of a sudden, that mess becomes clear, searchable data. You can filter by the time, the status, or a specific request. All that noise has been transformed into a clear signal. And the secret weapon that makes this work is something called a correlation ID. Just think of it like a unique digital fingerprint. When a request comes into a system, bam, it gets tagged with this ID. And then every single thing that happens related to that request, every database lookup, every other system it talks to, gets the same tag. It lets a developer trace one specific journey from start to finish, like following a trail of breadcrumbs through the entire forest. But here's the thing. This isn't just a programming trick. It's a powerful way to think.
It's about developing structured thinking to bring order to chaos, to find that signal in all the noise. And honestly, that is an absolutely essential skill for navigating any field in our totally data-saturated world.
All right, let's zoom back out. So we have these two really powerful ideas from software, right? Building loosely coupled, adaptable systems and creating structured, searchable knowledge out of chaos. The question is, how do we apply this blueprint to those massive career challenges we started with?
This is where it all just clicks into place. Look at this. That software principle, dependency injection, what is that really? It's a mental model for loose coupling and adaptability. And what's the career skill everyone's talking about? Resilience, flexibility, and agility. They're two sides of the exact same coin. Then you take structured logging. That's a mental model for finding the signal in the noise. The career skill? Analytical thinking, which happens to be the single most in-demand skill according to employers. See the connection?
And the urgency to build these skills is, well, it's real. By 2030, employers believe that nearly 6 out of every 10 workers are going to need significant training, just to stay relevant. The message here is pretty simple. Standing still is basically falling behind. So here it is. Here's the blueprint, inspired by software design. Number 1, decouple your skills. Don't let your identity be the person who knows this one tool. Instead, be the person who understands the principles behind that tool, principles that you can apply anywhere. 2, structure your learning. Treat your experiences like data. Actively log what you're learning and why, creating a personal knowledge base you can actually search through. And 3, find the signal. In every new trend, every new piece of information, you have to relentlessly ask, what is the core, timeless idea here that's going to outlast the hype?
And this all brings us to a final, really critical thought. The future is being written in code. But here's the key. Learning its language isn't just about becoming a programmer. It's about learning to think like one, to build for change, to structure the chaos, and to find the signal in the noise. In a world of constant flux, that might just be the most valuable skill of all.